Thanks for staying with us. Now, Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, has said that some roads in the country will be told to repay the loan used in constructing them. Emefiele, who said this while responding to questions after a two-day retreat of the Bankers Committee in Lagos on Wednesday, December 15th, added that roads getting tolled would also aid in its maintenance. He said most of those roads will be tolled, and we know that in many other countries in the world, roads are tolled because those projects are commercially viable. They can be refunded with tolls so that maintenance can be done on a regular basis and people will pay for it and enjoy good roads and good facilities, because that is the only way we can fund infrastructure of this country. Also revealing that there are lots of idle funds that can be channeled if packaged the way the Infrastructure Corporation of Nigeria Limited has been set up to give comfort to the local investors to put their funds in the project. He added that most of the funds would be in Naira because the banks and pension funds administrators have large pool of funds, and most of the funds can be raised locally before the country begins to think of accessing international finance. So have you ever been curious about the purpose of and the impact of road tolls in Nigeria? How do you think this will affect you personally? Now, please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. All right. Because Uti has been itching to talk about this too, because I remember when the show why are you looking at me? I can see you from my corner eye. You know, I remember when the NSAS thingy happened and they had to shut down the toll at the Lekki Lekki toll, yes. A lot of people were saying, yeah, thank God, you're happy that the tolls are, you know, no longer being, I mean, we're not being charged and all of that. Yeah, and I remember Uti saying that you think it's normal for you to have good roads, you know, if they continue at the pace where it's happening like this, very soon we'll start to have very bad roads, poor potholes and all of those things. And because those tolls, that the collection of those tolls are meant to actually service the roads and give us better roads.
Meant to.
You know, yes.
Underlined.
Well, you see, I read somewhere, and I saw that article, I was just laughing. 5 benefits of tolls. Somewhere in Europe, that it saves time, less wear and tear, saves money, safety, and also pre-planning in the term that you can actually prepare and everything. Most of these things are automated.
Yeah.
The kind of toll we have in this country, Uti, it is headache.
Brings on more stress.
It brings more stress and more hardship. I mean, this road, since the toll stopped working, the roads have been freer. So tell me, what is the impact of this road? Since you say toll must be done in Nigeria.
So it's not, I mean, starting from impacts for me is like putting the
cart before the horse. Yes.
It's important for us to accept, first of all, that there are challenges in Nigeria. So there is how a thing is supposed to work. Then there's how that same thing works in Nigeria.
In reality.
So we must understand that tolling is a type of strategy. It's not the only strategy, but it's a type of strategy. And in a country like Nigeria, where we don't pay the kinds of taxes that we need to pay, in a country like Nigeria, where we depend on the road network as much as we do, not just to transport individuals, you and I, but for goods. Everything is on our roads. We have a very functional rail system. I mean, look at trucks everywhere, the ports, everything. We've talked about this numerous times on the show. So the reality of it is, something needs to be done. Our roads right across the country, federal or state, are in a deplorable state. So when you start to look at options, because it's a strategy, it's a solution, it's a type of solution. When you start to look at it, then you can say to yourself that, okay, can tolling work for us? And I hear you, the things that you've listed as the benefits, they are the benefits. And other countries have used them successfully. America has kilometers and kilometers of roads that are tolled. I drove from Jersey to New York. I think I spent almost $20 or so in tolls, in $1, you know, different denominations that I had to pay. And there's still potholes on those roads, by the way. If you've driven in America,
I didn't know. I didn't see potholes.
I
drove. I drove 14 hours. Atlanta to
It
San
depends
Antonio.
on- it
Well,
depends
depends
on
on
the state.
where.
Hold on.
It depends
Atlanta
on the
to
state.
San Antonio. I didn't see one pothole. Oti.
So
Continue.
fine, but the one I drove on. So the idea is that if you want to take on tolling as a strategy, we need to look at where we're coming from, right? So we had tolls somewhere in the middle of the oil boom. Tolls. We started to use tolls in Nigeria, and it was working. Unfortunately, when the Nigeria factor comes in, Nigerians are very good at making use of opportunity. So of course, when you create I mean, for the purpose of this part of the conversation, I'm going to call it a bottleneck, but bear with me. When you create a bottleneck that says people are slowing down to go through a toll, a couple of things happen. Out comes the police, out comes the customs, out comes the traders, out
Road
comes
safety.
the beggars. So a toll gate invariably became a free-for-all something. If you were traveling sometimes to the east, you sleep on either side, the journey could take days, all because you are trying to cross the Onitsha, the bridge, that side, whichever way you're on. So, I mean, all of these things are factors. So I hear you that it can be quite difficult. If we bring it home to the Lekki toll gate that you're talking about, let me tell you what I think about the Lekki toll gate. For starters, it's done in a PPP, right? It's a partnership. Good way to go. The challenges we have here in government leads me to say that if tolling is your strategy, it shouldn't be run by the government. That's one. But we're coming back to solutions. Look at the toll. First problem. You talked about electronically e-payments
Automated.
and pre-planning automated. If you want to encourage change, you have to force people down that road. What do we have at the Lekki toll gate? You have 2 lanes
For e-payment.
You only have one really, because it's the last lane that is
the
fully
last lane.
automated.
Sure.
The other 2 lanes
Are still
take
in between.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you want to effect change, you see all these lanes, only one will be cash. Say by the time you queue, day 1, day 2, the tag is free. You will go and get it. That's how you drive change. So like I said, implementation is a problem. But we know that first and foremost, does tolling work? Yes. The Lekki Road is case in point. If you have an accident on that road,
But see, let me, and I want to come to the other list. Let me say something to you, Uti. Part of what this thing, when they say less wear and tear, saves time. Saving time. I drove in what's it called, Houston. When you see the toll road, you know that this one is a toll road because the beauty of that road. But you see, there were alternatives. In Nigeria, where are the alternatives? Federal roads, I'm not talking about even local state roads now. Where are the alternatives? Because you should always give people options.
So yes,
we do not have the infrastructure for alternative roads, right? That we can still take that are still good, safe and good. Do you understand? Because not everybody can afford this. We're talking about economics.
Your cake and eat it. So the reality of it for me is this. You say yes, you should have alternatives. First of all, it's your right. Nobody should force you. So I agree with you there. But we are taking this strategy to fix a problem. You are talking to people that don't have the kinds of problems we have. And then you are saying, so it is not an overnight process. I was talking about the Lekki Road. If you break something on that road, you will be charged. Potholes on that road get filled. Now, whether or not there's corruption, whether or not you agree with it or not, the road is working to a degree better than the roads that don't have tolls in Nigeria today. Try Ikorodu Road. If a car breaks down, you are liable to sleep there if you are behind it.
Okay.
But on the Lekki Road, at least somebody will come out, their staff will come out, they will direct traffic, they will clear it off the road. Things can work. So it's an open mind. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I think I shall
leave it there. Tolls. It's a beautiful strategy. Where I have a problem is it still comes down to leadership. To a large extent, when people do not feel I'm sorry about my throat, but when people do not feel the feelings of the people that they are seemingly governing, they do not understand the plight of the people. You're putting tolls. Usually for these countries that we look, it's very easy for us to see what is happening well and right in other countries without asking let me borrow Isi's language, the right questions. How are the processes? What are the processes that they have put in place to be able to achieve successful results in this regard? So you take, for example, a country where this similarly works, the tolling system works. The economy is good enough and it aids the people to be able to fend for themselves in such a way that they can afford the options that they have, whether I take a bus or I can afford to have a car that I can pay or pay. Even take, for example, in the UK, you could buy an Oyster card for the month. You could plan yourself and say, I could put £30 in my Oyster card and it will carry me through the month, because I already know my system, I know my route, I know how to get there, I know I can plan myself, right? So you are able to put yourself together. And because they service the trains, they take their options. You want to use a bus, you want to use a train, these systems work. They have a system where they have programmed in such a way that they have looked into it and said, these are the things that can help us to be able to achieve the ultimate result of being able to either recoup our monies or whatever. Then you come to Nigeria, we quickly borrow that this is what is happening globally. And we come and implement it here when we have not put in place the processes that make it possible for them to work. In fact, interestingly, while I was reading the write-up, I saw a comment that someone made that made me laugh when they said, someone, I wouldn't call his name, he said, you borrow money and you steal it, then you tell us the poor to repay the money. God is watching you. It seems like the government continues to look for ways to make things even more difficult. I don't have a problem you implementing strategies that help to make things better. Where I have a problem is that you are not giving people the avenue to be equipped.
Let me ask, because today is the day of asking the right questions. First of all,
take place.
Why did former President Obasanjo take out federal tolls off the roads?
So
see,
Let Uti
you want Uti to answer
Uti answer
then you come back.
I will come back to why we have to disengage anything that has to do with tolls. We don't need to.
Why did Obasanjo remove tolls?
We don't need it.
Remember I said, you need to be able to split the conversation in two.
Yeah.
Do tolls work?
Yes, they do. Nobody's
arguing. We're not saying that it doesn't.
So, because when you say we need to scrap tolls entirely,
we must.
I say, do tolls work? Yes. So, when you come to it, why did he scrap it? So, he scrapped it back, I think it was in 2004.
This thing is annoying.
A few things. At the time, the funding, the revenue from tolling was, according to him, negligible. 23 million naira a day. 63 million naira a day. So that's about 23 billion annually.
Okay.
It's not a drop in the ocean, right? There were issues with, like we said, corruption. If you notice, sometimes you might be in a car and you see the driver saying, give me my tickets. You know, these new tools these days, they're counted electronically. Because people used to give fake tickets in those days. You know, the staff were rich because for every one ticket I issue, I might issue 10 of my own and I'm keeping the money.
Exactly.
There were issues legally. The ownership of the land, all those kinds of issues also occurred. So there are multiple reasons why it was stopped. I talked already about what the toll gates looked like at the time. It was an eyesore. So valid reason to stop it, right? Now, the question I want to ask and throw back to you is this. You talked about making life easier for Nigerians.
Yeah.
The average journey today, how long did it take people to get to Ore before the road was fixed? Now, if somebody gave you the option and said, you know what, I'm going to fix this road and then I'll charge you a toll to make sure it doesn't take you 5 hours to get from Lagos to Ore, which would you choose? Hold on, it's question.
I'm shaking your hand. I will choose the option, but where is the option? because the road they are tolling is the same road that we have today. There are no alternate roads.
No. So the question I asked was not about alternatives.
Okay.
My question was very direct.
Okay.
Today, before the Ibadan Express was fixed,
Yeah.
at least Lagos to Ore, I experienced it. It took me almost 4.5 hours. Not my full journey
Used
to Benin.
to.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. Before it was fixed, right? Now, if somebody told me, I'll fix this road, save you the 4.5 hours if you pay 200 naira toll. Remember, this 200 naira toll is not individual. It's for the vehicle.
That's Igbo.
Would you, no, my question is simple. Would you pay?
I would pay.
Let me,
it.
There you go.
let me come in. Let me come in.
But you have an
See,
option there.
See, you talked about the Nigerian factor. The Nigerian factor will always come into play. I'm not against having tolls, but I'm against the fact that when these tolls are built, another government, because of lack of continuity, another government will come and demolish it and say, we don't need the tolls. Now,
Have we demolished tolls?
Oh, yes.
Yes, Obasanjo.
Obasanjo
No,
did.
that's no. He had his reasons for demolishing it, but it
coming.
wasn't a change of administration.
It was a change of administration. It was.
When
Now,
he came into
let's-
power now.
No, it wasn't a change of administration. Tolls had been there for multiple administrations.
Yes.
He didn't come in and
Beforehand.
demolish it because it was a change in his administration. He had his valid reasons for
Yes,
stopping
but
them.
there was
So it's not a
change.
lack of continuity.
It was lack of continuity. Let me keep going. Let me just keep going. The bottom line is this: that
I
when
love this.
another government comes in, they decide to
We
what?
don't have the facts to verify that, but carry on.
Okay, neither do you.
No, we have facts. He demolished them for a reason. He didn't
Uti.
demolish them because I just came into power
You're-
and decided
you're
to change it.
distorting
There were
my
multiple
thought
governments that
process.
came before he demolished it. I'm
You're
simply
distorting
saying
my
you
thought
must have
process.
facts to back it up, but carry on.
Now, in the course of doing this, we have bad transportation in Nigeria. Now, bad transportation in Nigeria, which what's her name, Norma talked about, is another crucial fact. Where
Do
we
they even use these roads?
where we have what's it called? Where we have the current. I told you distorted my.
Oh, sorry. Okay, you know what? Let's go and drink water.
Let me.
I want to bring back, I'll bring back Isi's thought. Let us go on a break. But I'm coming for Uti today. I
That's
ya.
Let
We'll
go.
be right back. And we're discussing the impact of road tolls on Nigerians. Now, please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081 803 84663. Our phone line is now open. I say open. Please turn off the volume of your television set. Please turn it off so we can hear ourselves. The number to call is 07025007749. 07025007749. See, you know what, Uti? I need you to understand my point, where I'm coming from, and I'll come to. I want to hear Isi's thought. I think we found the thoughts back.
Yes, we
Do you want to quickly drop that thought, and I'll come to Uti?
I want to take it from the perspective of the people. Now, the people, we are the ones that are actually suffering. You know, like Fela said, we are suffering and we are smiling at the same time. And why am I saying this? I'm saying this in the fact that the different types of tolls we have in Nigeria, we have different types of tolls. We have the toll of, what's it called? We have the toll of, what's it called? Military toll.
Now on our taxes now.
I never finished now. We have human toll. We have Berus. We'll also have another one. We have the toll by government.
But she's valid.
All this toll that she's calling.
Uti, let me finish.
Yeah,
alright.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
So we
As I said, facts.
We have customs toll.
No, but she's
All
stating the
these-
reality
all
already
these
of what
are
commuters
what
are
the
facing.
Nigerians
Are
are going
facing.
through currently because of the fact that they need to pay a given stipend to every individual
Yes,
on the road.
at every checkpoint.
And every checkpoint, whatever name we decide to
Call it.
it.
It's
And
still
even
toll.
the road transporters, it's going to tell on the passengers because once they increase the toll, the prices.
The cost of transport,
The
the
road
cost,
transporters
the cost-
are behind the tolling.
and at the end of the day,
They are happy with
the increase in transportation now goes up, and who will pay? The Nigerians.
Us. Okay, Suleiman from Bauchi. Salam alaikum. Thank you. Thank you for calling.
Yes, so I'm enjoying your show today,
Thank you.
and the lady there is trying to explain the issue of tolling. And And the thing is, what the federal government said was that they are going to privatize the tolling something, so the government will not be in control. Apart from tolling, they are going to build toilets, hotels, and shopping malls close to those places. So that even the people that are close to that area, that is people moving maybe 2 kilometers or 3 kilometers will not pay toll. People using machines, will not pay toll. So the thing is, the mistake of made, that's why we had all these bad roads. And if you can see,
No, but
after the government said, after they will not throw the gate until they finish the construction of those.
thank you,
of those
Suleiman.
roads.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much.
You see, driving from Atlanta all the way to San Antonio, first of all, on the roads, what I saw,
Rest
they were
areas.
rest areas, proper rest areas. I could not believe my eyes that this one I can actually lodge there and take selfie and say I'm in a hotel. That was one. Number two, these heavy trucks, right, did not go through. They drove by the lay-by. There's a side road where they slip by,
had their
and they do a proper weighing, and they tax them. Number three, there were alternative roads. So you would see some roads that had a bit of traffic, but you would see the free roads. The reason they say that you would have it to save time is because even those alternate road, you understand, those alternate roads that had the toll, you see that they were really free. But even the ones that they claimed that they were not even so free, that were free roads, and I mean that they didn't have toll, the traffic was not as hellish as what we have. So if you tell me as a government that, you know what, we are restructuring the road network of Nigeria, not this existing road, and you put a toll on those new road networks, that I know that, okay, if it took me 30 minutes to get to Ibadan from this existing road, it will take me 10 minutes. I will pay that money gladly.
It's like you are not ready to start.
Happily.
Let me tell you something, guys. I like when we talk like we're Utopia and we're not in Nigeria.
Right.
Do you want to get somewhere, or you just want us to sit around this table and continue talking about it? Let me tell you something.
We want our government
I said it that tolling is a strategy, and I love what our caller said. Look, first of all, I said it that I don't even think the government should run tolling. First of all, because there are enough challenges within the government.
Let me just take Austin and come back to you. Austin, are you there? Thank you for calling. Sorry.
Yes, I'm here. Good evening. Good evening to all of you.
Hi, Austin. Thank you for calling.
Yeah. Okay, so your friend there is worried that Nigeria is placed on the poor nation list. But the thing is, if we don't present ourselves as a poor nation, how do we get the dollar? You know, it's not following now. If we say we are a rich country now.
It's occurring to me.
Then the other one is you are aware that NCDC recently said they were able to test 3 persons that were positive for the Omicron, whatever it is called. And then immediately after that, 3 countries placed us on
red
list. You know, and they said Nigeria should not visit their country. So why should Nigeria be the one to say they have seen people who are tested to Omicron or whatever it is called? That, by the way, then for the toll gate, you know, the West Square was increased, when the West Side was increased. That was the reason OBJ scrapped the toll gate. And then they came up with a short fee to cushion the effect of the increase in fuel price. Alright? And then, of course, you know that the money was not even going to the government. The money they were collecting those toll gates didn't get to the government. It was going into private pockets.
Thank you.
To all of you.
Merry Christmas. You know, so quickly round off your thoughts.
So, so the idea is, look, we have to start somewhere, guys. Like I said, there are multiple strategies. It's not just about the government running it. I was giving the example of the road that was just done close by here by an organization. It is possible to actually hand off certain stretches of road to organizations. Have them run it, have them maintain it, give them tax breaks until we get to a point where we break even, and you can hand it back. That's one strategy. You can come back and say, you know what, I want to toll. I'm going to PPP, you toll. We have a process. So it's not, when we just say, oh, no tolling because the government, no tolling because, look, development has to come from somewhere, right? We have to identify that there are challenges.
But can we also change the structure of the tolls that we are putting on the road, Uti?
Yes, no, you can't, you're coming in and doing tolls and doing it properly. Even when the minister talked about it, he said, look, we're going to need to have at least 10 lanes for these things to work. Alternate routes, yes. We know how long it takes in Nigeria for them to create roads today. Now they're going to go and break somebody's house, break somebody's land, pay money, go. It's a process. But you can't say that because it's a process, we shouldn't do it. It is going to have a long-term positive impact. Yes, when they are fixing roads anywhere, it causes short-term problems. In the long term, there are benefits. So we need to be able to understand that it is a long game and then ask for the right things, not just shut it down. Because guess what? Do we pay enough taxes? No. Do we have leakages? Yes. Do we have to find solutions around these things? Yes. Is corruption going away tomorrow? No. So the reality of it is, it will impact. In the short term, it could be negative. In the long term, it could be positive. We just need to push for the right things.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, let me take Norma from Abia State. Thank you for calling.
Good evening.
Hi, thank you for calling.
Good evening, my dear sister in the house.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, the impact of those on Nigeria. See, when this government came to power in 2015, I thought they are going to make the life of Nigeria better. What are we people complaining of those? As if but the people are practicing saying, people are living in Benin, they are people living into political hellfire. Now they are not trying to introduce tolls again on road. And why is the government not moving? He removed it in order to give up the sovereign in the road. I don't know the people that are managing the economy of this country. Starting from the president, the minister for finance, they are of this, and I'm telling you, those people, they need to go back and learn how to run the country. Because they are not doing it. They are making us to look at the president as a wicked man. But that is not a wicked man.
Thank you, Norma.
They need to stop people, they need to block people for the first giving people tolls on the road. Let them even of the world of the country. Or else, the history would never be broken and still wicked to Nigeria.
Thank you. So my point. First of all, I do not advise the structure, the physical structure of tolls on the road that we already know that exist. I mean, I've been to countries where the tolls are up in the sky. You don't even know that there are tolls. So since we do not have those kinds of infrastructure, can we do something where you go to register your vehicle? The licensing, there should be a surcharge that you are taxed as addition that goes to probably road maintainers or something. Introducing physical tolls on this existing road is not going to solve my problem, Uti. However smooth that road is, if the road you still have to slow down, make a payment, just my point. If you still need to slow down, make a payment and all of that, it is completely futile in its sense and how it's going to work. Right, so my point.
Agreed.
Wait, I didn't say you should not toll road.
So again,
you can toll road, but I'm saying be creative with your
collection. I agreed with you, and I have said that. Look, there are. I just said it that even with the Lekki toll gate, you accepting cash in more lanes than electronically doesn't make sense. We agree. The point is, it can be done better. It should be done better. But you coming and saying, oh, that the impact right now, it shouldn't be done because... I
didn't say it should not be done. I'm saying that where are the alternative roads?
Even the alternative roads will take time. Look at this, our own stretch of road in Lekki here. The alternative routes are not particularly any better right now. The alternative routes are not particularly any better. So yes, it is a right. We should have alternative roads. You can't force me to pay a toll. Yes, but what I'm simply saying is confront the fact that tolls can work and they can be done properly. If you now want to talk about the Nigerian factor, then let's talk about solutions that deal with the Nigerian factor, but not saying scrap tolls completely.
The Nigerian factor, will it be able to, are we going to be able to change that Nigerian factor from playing out? Look, I keep coming back to one thing. When everybody was talking about the COVID and it was all over the world, the moment when it was all over the world, before it got to Nigeria, there was that human feeling from everyone in the world. But the moment it came into Nigeria, the Nigerian factor came into play, and like you said, it became a business, a galore for everybody to come and make money or not make money.
So where's the headway first?
So the headway for us is holding our leaders accountable, or whoever is going to hold, or whoever is going to be in charge of the toll distribution. Because the key thing is,
how do you hold leaders accountable?
We need to find
to the point where you are coming with solutions that we're talking about. Is it private sector? You can't just say hold them accountable.
Whoever they're going to put in charge of the toll is the person that we should hold accountable. Because we can't have somebody who says, "Oh, I'm in charge of the toll."
Is frustrated?
Yeah,
you know why?
Because
I know why. I can smell your I can see your frustration.
Again, and at the end of the day, they will still come back with,
because you know the sad thing,
Uti,
let's not come back 10 years down the line to discuss this matter and say we told you so, because the corruption, whatever it is that is happening, there's too much corruption in the system for you to introduce it just yet. My point, if you want to really do something about road maintenance, maybe you should charge it while I'm paying for my vehicle license or something. When I'm renewing my license, I have a fixed fee that I pay, probably. You understand? But I mean, yes, not, I don't know. I'm just saying.
You know, when you say these things, we say this from the myopic point of view of the things that we do. You pay road license. Do you know how many people are... Please, okay. Norma, carry on.
So even now, people are not paying legally, Abi. Look, so that's my point. You're living in Utopia. Are you living in Utopia?
Which is why the toll is perfect, because you cannot pass unless you pay. Now, talk about whether there are leakages in the money. I will agree with you. Let's talk about the things that can yield fruit. Not all this one that we're just arguing emotionally.
Okay.
Please, we have to argue emotionally, because that is what we are going through. If nobody is feeling it, I am feeling it, and I will express myself from that point of view.
Everybody is feeling it, and that's why I still come back to leadership, and I agree with Isi on that regard, because if people feel, if you go through these routes, most people fly.
I hope you know all your leaders are all in choppers and they're
that's what I'm saying. They fly in the air. So when you put some of these things, or you think up of a thought, oh, this is a brilliant idea, oh, let's implement. You don't think about the impact that it has on the people. Before these people come up with plans, there are processes. There's an end-to-end process that they go through.
How about building those alternates?
Okay, you know what? If this doesn't work, if A or B or C, there are different avenues that we can make this work. But the people that we have on ground are not thinking that way. The only thing is, oh, this is, I mean, I was reading that report, that write-up, and I saw something that had to do with idle funds. There are even idle funds that are not being used.
Why are you not tapping on that?
Why don't we even begin to look into those avenues? I mean, these are things that, my problem is that it's not, the thought is not to alleviate the
pain on
the Nigerian citizens.
It's just to generate revenue. At
what cost? It was geared towards that. I totally agree with you, Uti. These are strategies that work. But how we implement them is
I like how you are arguing implementation, and that's exactly what I'm saying. If you are going to argue implementation, come and tell me that A does not work. You know, look, they haven't told you they're not building alternative routes. They have said they will. So the point is, are you arguing that somebody has said that because he says the solution
and they build
is
it first before we start the tolling? Is it
they haven't said they won't build it.
No, I've said
we are not implementing this right now. You are having a conversation. They haven't told you that they would not build it. They have said that it is a human right for you to have alternatives. They have said that the tolls. So you are acknowledging that there is a problem. Now, do you just want to argue the problem, or do you want to focus on the solution?
The solutions.
Sorry, Norma.
Are they willing to prefer the solution?
Calm down.
Read the article to the solution.
Uti, the conversation around alternate roads, we've already seen how it plays out. You know, especially let's take Lekki Ekpe Expressway case in point. All the alternate roads that they created, how motorable are they? In the real sense of
which one is not motorable? You have 2 toll gates on that road, at least that I know of, up to Chevron. There's an alternate route on this side of the road. There's an alternate route.
The one to your estate is even still motorable, but it's not a good road. If you really want to provide an alternate, provide a good alternate. You understand? So Nigerian government, listen.
First of all, when you say provide a good road, what are you comparing it to? Your roads are generally not good. So why all of a sudden is it this particular road that must be good? I'm not saying it should be bad. I have driven on all the alternate routes. There is none of them right now as alternate routes to both toll gates in Lekki that are bad. There's none.
It's
The
drivable.
the Chevron one is fully paved from end to end. The Lekki one is fully paved from end to end. So what's your point? Argue.
Okay. The point I'm trying to make, can we make those roads look as good as the one that is the
Do
main
you
road
have
that
the
is sold?
space? That's the point. So when you guys are saying it, I'm like, look, for you to make that road any wider now, you are going to need to demolish people's houses. It is a process. Which you people will still come back and say the government is callous. They brought somebody down. Look, let's be clear. Focus on what your problems are. Do you need motorable roads now? At least even get the main one motorable. Before you now say, the alternative one, motorable. We know how long these things take. Even in the organized world, it takes time. But everybody wants to sit here in utopia and say it is the plan. Let's all sit together now.
Uti.
We will be crying this cry in 10 years that the roads are not motorable.
Uti.
You did not pay 200
Uti.
naira for toll.
Let's take some comments.
Okay, maybe after the comments. But my point of argument is really about, it says the impact of road tolls. You are going to put in road tolls. How are you preparing the people
For it.
for it? What are the processes that you put? I'm not talking about even building roads now. You don't need to build roads to get people to know that these are the impacts. They see you repairing roads, the existing ones. They see you doing things that show that this money is even used for the reasons that it's being used. For Lagos City is there's road, there's nothing helping the people to, there's still traffic. Do you understand? There's no plan to make,
All of you
there are
not on the
countries
road.
that, the
All of you not
population,
on
so
the
we
road.
blame
Have you
it on the
given us? Have you
population.
given us trains?
hang on now.
Have you given us
Population.
buses?
Hang on. Are all of you not on the road? So
Let's take
when
comments.
we talk about it, anyway, let me take my comments. Greetings,
don't have a
ladies.
comment.
The government needs to do a lot to prove to citizens that they are serious. Imagine the port, so much revenue yet so inefficient. Import or export is a nightmare. Local to international airport, so much revenue yet the road is not world class, and so much pain and traffic. Lekki toll, so much pain and traffic. Corruption and lack of sincerity is the greatest bane of tolling. This is now what I can agree with. Let's list our problems and let's list solutions, credible solutions. Let's not just argue and say we are upset because these things are
We're
happening.
not just arguing.
It can't be now.
We're not just arguing. We're still talking about the solutions. So this comment says General Abacha brought toll gates and introduced PTF. The impact was great because drugs were available in hospitals, roads, rehabilitation was going on all over the country. What is infrastructure development when human capital development is relegated to the background? We need a system re-examination in this country in order to move the country forward.
This way.
System reevaluation in order to move the country forward. That is crucial. But is the system willing to be changed? That is another thing that we need to
We
ask.
keep asking
Uti
the
is
questions.
I say,
we keep
Uti is
asking the
in
questions.
the right question
Easy.
asking mode. But I think we've had a
There's so much
fantastic
decay,
conversation.
so much.
So I get you and I hear you clearly, but I'm saying that in terms of the level of corruption and what
So
we
much decay.
where we are today as a country, I think they should put a pause on this toll.
Corruption has been here.
It will
Corruption
be
is
here.
not
It will
going
never
anywhere.
live here.
In the countries that you speak about,
There's
corruption
corruption of
exists.
course.
But it can
So
be- it
in
can
the
be
because
curbed.
so
One
you
house.
can't
It can be
use
curbed.
corruption as an excuse
It's not
to
an
say
excuse.
that improvements and development should not happen. What we should focus on is how it should be done better.
Okay.
That's what we are focusing on.
Awesome. On that note, thank you, Noma Ifanga. Thank you. It's your 40. Thank you, Uti Elu. You're in the zone. I can see. Okay, we don't know how this is going to impact you as a Nigerian, but you can, make sure you follow us on Instagram, interact with us further. If you have some comments, please drop your comments. And more importantly, we started a giveaway to say thank you to you for believing in the Ways brand. So do well to follow at Ways Show Africa, like, share, invite families and friends to follow and watch the show. If you missed today's quote, here it is again. Allowing a private rather than a public entity to take over your toll roads merely means that your tolls will have to be that much higher to cover their more expensive debt. So when Uti is talking about PPP, PPP means that these companies are out to recoup their monies. And if they have quoted, we didn't even add the factor of over-bloated quoting of how much they spent in fixing the road. So let's leave that matter. Don't worry.
Government corruption, or do you want slightly higher and you get it to work? Pick your poison. But you
Okay,
can't have
I
it.
pick my poison. My poison, I'll pick it tomorrow. We'll see you guys at 8 p.m. tomorrow as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.